Okay, we're going to continue with homework on section 5-6, multiplying polynomials. Question 11, multiply the conjugates. 3/4 t minus 3 times 3/4 t plus 3. Okay, just a reminder, we're going to FOIL. So how do we multiply the first terms? 3/4 t times 3/4 t is 9/16 t squared. For the outer terms, we're going to do 3/4 t times 3. If you do need to use your calculator, 3/4 times 3 is 9/4, but it gives it to you as a fraction, so you've got to do math frac. You get 9/4 t. The inner terms, -3 times 3/4 t is going to be negative 9/4 t. And then the last terms, -3 times +3 is -9. Are there any like terms? 9/4 t minus 9/4 t gives you 0. So your answer, when you multiply these conjugates, you get 9/16 t squared minus 9. Number 12, multiply the conjugates. Let's go FOIL. For the first terms, when you multiply the first terms, w cubed times w cubed, you add the exponents. 3 plus 3 is 6. So you get w to the 6th. Now for the outer terms, w cubed times negative 10x gives me negative 10 x w cubed. You can write w cubed x if you want to, does not matter. Okay, for the inner terms, when you multiply the inner terms, 10x times w cubed will give you plus 10x w cubed. Finally, for the last terms, 10x times negative 10x is negative 100x squared. For the like terms, I have negative 10x w cubed plus 10x w cubed. So those are like terms. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. Those are gone. My answer is w to the 6th minus 100x squared. Number 13 says to square the binomial u plus v quantity squared. That means u plus v times u plus v. Be careful and don't go distribute and say u squared plus v squared. That's wrong. You can't do that. You can only distribute an exponent if it is multiplication or division. Remember that? Let's go look at that. If you have a times b to the m, you can say that that's a to the m times b to the m. That you can do. But you cannot distribute that square over a sum. All right, so I'm going to write it out as u plus v times u plus v, because then I can go FOIL. My first terms, u times u squared. My outer terms, u times v gives me plus uv. My inner terms, v times u. You can write vu or let's do uv. And the last terms, v times v is v squared. Do you see any like terms? I do. Plus uv plus uv. Remember that there's an understood 1 there. So 1 uv plus 1 uv is 2 uv. You also have the u squared. So u squared plus 2uv plus v squared. Number 14, square the binomial. I like writing it out twice. So 6t squared minus 7s times 6t squared minus 7s. Okay, I'm going to FOIL. So when I multiply the first terms, I'm going to do 6t squared times 6t squared. So that's 36. T squared times t squared. 2 plus 2 is t to the 4th. For the outer terms, I'm going to multiply 6t squared times negative 7s. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. Okay, t squared s, I'm going to do in alphabetical order, st squared. Now for the inner terms, negative 7s times 6t squared. Negative 7 times 6 is negative 42, st squared. And finally, for the last terms, negative 7s times negative 7s. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. S times s is s squared. Collecting like terms, negative 42 st squared minus 42 st squared. Negative 42 minus 42 is negative 84 st squared. Your answer will be 36 t to the 4th minus 84 st squared plus 49 s squared. Number 15, square the binomial. 3 minus w times 3 minus w. If I FOIL, when I multiply the first terms, 3 times 3 is 9. When I multiply the outer terms, 3 times negative w is negative 3w. When I multiply the inner terms, negative w times 3 is negative 3w. And last, when I multiply the last terms, negative w times negative w is positive w squared. Are there any like terms? Yes. Negative 3w minus 3w is negative 6w. Okay, I'm going to write this in the correct order, decreasing order. So I'm going to write the w squared first, minus 6w, and then plus 9. Number 16, find a polynomial expression that represents the area of the square shown in the figure. Okay, remember that a square, all 4 sides are the same. So this one down here is also 7p plus 1. To find the area of a square, you're going to do base times height. So that's going to be 7p plus 1 times 7p plus 1. Okay, I need to go FOIL that. So if I multiply the first terms together, 7p times 7p is 49p squared. The outer terms, 7p times 1 is 7p. The inner terms, 1 times 7p is 7p. And the last terms. 1 times 1 is 1. Are there any like terms? Yes. 7p plus 7p is 14p. So writing it in decreasing powers of p, I get 49p squared plus 14p plus 1. That's the area of that square. Number 17. Find a polynomial that represents the volume of the rectangular solid shown in the figure. Recall that the volume of a rectangular solid is length times width times height. So I want to do length times width times height. Here's the length, which is r minus 3, times the width, which is r minus 1, times the height, which is r minus 3. And I need to take 2 of these at a time. So I'm going to do this first, r minus 1 times r minus 3. I need to go FOIL. I'm going to leave the r minus 3 out here by itself. R minus 3 stays there. Okay, here comes what's in the red. First terms, r times r is r squared. Oops, I want this to be red. Okay, then outer terms. R times negative 3 is negative 3r. Inner terms. Negative 1 times r is negative 1r. You could just write negative r if you want to. Last terms. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. Okay, that's all in those brackets. Can I simplify anything in those brackets? Can I collect any like terms? Yes. I get negative 4r. So I have r squared minus 4r plus 3. That's all inside those red brackets. And I want to multiply that by r minus 3. So here we go. We're going to binomial times a trinomial. We're going to do it term by term. Start here and do this one first. So r times r squared is r cubed. R times negative 4r is negative 4r squared. R times 3 is plus 3r. Now we're going to do the same thing with the negative 3. What's negative 3 times r squared? You get negative 3r squared. Then you're going to do negative 3 times negative 4r to give you positive 12r. One more. Negative 3 times positive 3 is negative 9. Okay, can we clean that up any? I only see the 1r squared here. There's no other, r cubes. There's no other r cubed. So I'm going to leave r cubed by itself. Are there any r squareds? Minus 4r squared minus 3r squared is minus 7r squared. Are there any r's? 3r plus 12r, 3 plus 12 is 15r. and then you still have the minus 9. That is a polynomial that represents the volume of that rectangular solid. Number 18, multiply the expression. I have a binomial times a binomial. I'm going to remind myself to go FOIL. If I multiply the first terms, 1/3 t times 3t. What is 1/3 times 3? Just 1. Okay, 1/3 times 3 is 1, and then I have t times t, so I get t squared. Outer. When I multiply the outer terms, 1/3 t times -5 is -5/3 t. For the inner terms, when I multiply the inner terms, 7 times 3t is 21t. When I multiply the last terms, 7 times -5 is -35. There are some like terms, -5/3 t plus 21t, -5/3 plus 21, that is 58/3. 58/3 t. I also have t squared plus 58/3 t minus 35. Number 19. I'm multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. Let's take the first term, 5u. I'm going to multiply it times 2u. 5u times 2u is 10u squared. Then I'm going to take 5u times -6, and I get -30u. Then I'm going to take 5u times 3u squared, and I get 15, because 5 times 3 is 15. U times u squared is u cubed. Now down below, 1 times 2u is plus 2u. 1 times -6 is minus 6. 1 times 3u squared is 3u squared. Okay, look for the highest exponent. I only see one u cubed. So I have 15u cubed. How about u squareds? 10u squared plus 3u squared is 13u squared. -30u plus 2u is -28u. And you still have the -6. Last problem, number 20. I see that I'm multiplying a binomial times a binomial, so I'm going to go FOIL. When I multiply the first terms, here's a first term, here's a first term. 7c squared times 3c squared is 21c to the 4, because you add the exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4. For the outer terms, 7c squared times -6 is -42c squared. For the inner terms, -8 times 3c squared is -24c squared. And finally, for the last terms, -8 times -6 is +48. There are like terms, -42c squared minus 24c squared. -42 minus 24 is -66. I get negative 66c squared. My answer will be 21c to the fourth minus 66c squared plus 48. That's it for the section.